Hi, it's me, Yeonni. This week I wanted to talk about some practical tips that I could share on how to deal with your anxiety. These tips are tips that have helped me out throughout the years of dealing with my crippling anxiety. So here are my tips, and let's just get straight into the video. So first things first, I wanted to talk about some things that you could do while you're having like an anxiety episode, or when you feel like your anxiety is kind of creeping up on you, because those bastards like to come in whenever and just ruin your day. But the first thing I could share is focus on your breathing. So when you feel like these anxious thoughts are coming up, try to focus on your breathing. Because when we get nervous, when we get anxious, it's very common and it's like a biological reaction that we start breathing a lot more heavily, a lot faster, and it's important to really remember to breathe. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, focus on your breathing so that you can biologically, physically kind of slow your body down, calm your body down as it reacts to anxiety. Secondly, if you know what possibly triggered your anxiety, something that could really help is to get yourself physically out of the room. So whether the trigger is a person or a task that was given to you or just like an environment, to try to get yourself physically as far as possible away as from that trigger is something that could really help with your anxiety. This one helps me a lot. You might think like kind of like self meditate, like I can do this, I can get through this, and there are situations where you can just get through like an anxiety episode and just kind of calm yourself down, keep going with whatever you were doing. But a lot of the times anxiety comes up because our body and our minds are reacting to something that we are not comfortable with, that we are not familiar with. So getting yourself physically away from that trigger can really help. The third thing I can share with you is know what anxiety is. This one kind of requires some research, requires some work, but I think it's important to know what anxiety is and to not ignore it. Sometimes with the negative things in life, we just want to kind of put it on the back burner, don't want to think about it, don't want to deal with it. While it is the most common mental health illness in the US, everyone's anxiety looks and feels different, and it looks and feels different to you than it looks and feels to me. So do the research, get to know what your anxiety is. And the more you get to know about your anxiety or what general like anxiety is and how it can look to people, the less scary it will seem, the less foreign it will seem, and less anxiety. A fourth tip that I could offer is meditative mindfulness. Mindfulness is this whole new era of like science these days that still requires a lot more research, in my opinion, and also in the opinions of like scholarly people who do these research. But basically mindfulness, it comes down to really being mindful of where we are, like our physical state. So a mindfulness meditation that I really like to do is obviously it depends on where you are, so you might not be able to do it, but I like to really try to do this meditation where I sit on a chair comfortably as possible and I just kind of loosen up all my muscles. I just kind of loosen everything up. And then I try to go from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head, feeling every limb, every part of it. Like for example, trying to feel like the weight of my feet on the ground, trying to feel like the weight of my butt on the chair, and if my hand is resting on my leg, really trying to isolate each part of my body so that it feels more grounded. And by the time you get to the tip of your head, I think I tried this in like an art therapy class last summer, and it was such a weird feeling trying to focus so much on parts of your body that you never really take the time to focus on. But it was also really liberating, where at the end of the exercise I felt very relaxed and calm, and all the crazy thoughts that anxiety tends to bring on, it was kind of like silenced or at least muffled for that time, because I was intentionally focusing on everything else but what was going on in here. So mindfulness meditation, just type it up on YouTube. There's like meditations where you can listen to someone, or meditations or podcasts that you can listen to before you sleep. Mindfulness meditation is something that I swear by and that has helped me with my anxiety so much. My fifth tip I could give to you is journaling. I have recently as of this week, made a video on bullet journaling, and I do it because not only because I love it, I love being organized, it helps with my anxiety so much. Something about being able to have a place where I can kind of word vomit if there's way too much going on up here, or if I have a lot of deadlines and assignments and meetings. It's overwhelming. It gives me anxiety because I have this fear of failure, this fear of not doing things right. So my bullet journal allows me to just write everything down. So if I'm feeling that like bout of anxiousness because I have an assignment that I didn't plan for, I can open up my notebook, I can write it down, be like, okay, that assignment is due in 2 weeks. I have this time to prepare for it. And immediately my anxiety is not handled 100%, of course, but I feel so much better, and having that notebook has literally changed my life. So if you would like to check out some of my bullet journal videos, I'll link them in the description down below so you can kind of get an intro to what they're like and kind of make it your own. Or if you would like some more information, Google is our best friend. It is one of the greatest and the worst things that the internet has given to us, because sometimes people use it to research stupid things like eating Tide Pods, but let's not even go there, 2018. But yes, Google search bullet journaling, and you can even do like bullet journaling anxiety, and then there will all be all these articles about how it has helped so many people with dealing with their anxiety. So journaling, highly recommend it. I recommend it to all my patients at my internship. Really good. And last but not least, I think this tip I could give to you is very important. It's not as practical because it takes time, I think, but very important to share. And it's the tip that you need to take time for yourself. Like I just mentioned, I have all these expectations and things about myself, my fears of failure, my insecurities, and all these things. And I thought it would be easy for me to retreat into kind of like a romantic relationship or into friendships to kind of not think about my anxiety and my feelings of self-worth and my feelings of just feeling insecure and all these scary thoughts and how I felt like inadequate and like broken because of my anxiety. But throughout the years, pretty recently actually, I've learned the concept of self-care, the concept of self-love, and how important it is to love yourself first and to take care of yourself first, whether it's physically or mentally, before you're able to love anyone else. Because when you're empty and when you're feeling like you're lacking and you try to get that kind of love from somewhere else, you'll always be disappointed. Hi, Pink. Short break. Pink, say hello. Say hello. I think she's confused because I'm talking to myself essentially. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, when your love comes from a place of like a negative lack where you feel like there isn't love, then you'll never be fulfilled. You'll never be satisfied because you're supposed to love yourself. You're supposed to feel that love for yourself first, and then you can give that love to someone else. That way, when you're fighting with your boyfriend or girlfriend and they do something awful to you, then you'll be able to think logically about that situation, and it won't go back into like the spiraling, dangerous thoughts of, like feelings of like lack of self-worth, like am I not good enough? Is it my fault? You know what I mean? Like we've all been there, kind of really overthinking. So when you prioritize yourself first, and not in like an egotistical way, but prioritize your wellness up here and physically, and when that self-love and that self-care really flows out, there will be so much less fear, so much less insecurity, so many less insecurities, and so many less doubts, and so many less things that are foreign, like these feelings of why is this happening to me? And overall, less anxiety. On days when I really feel like I need self-care, where I've had like a rough day or a rough week, I like to do my makeup as much as I can, the best of my abilities, to try to look pretty. I want to wear something really cute, I want to wear pretty earrings, and I pack up my bag with my laptop and my charger and my earphones. And then I head to the prettiest cafe I know. I love New York City because there's so many local amazing cafe shops. So I go to these cafe shops, I order a delicious like pastry or whatever, something yummy to treat myself, and I get myself a nice coffee. Then I sit down in a corner and I watch YouTube videos and I online shop. That's what I do for self-care, and I'm not always like buying things, so don't get me wrong when I say online shop. I just like look through shops and look at pretty things in like a nice cozy environment with my nice coffee in hand, looking and feeling all cute, and sometimes I people watch. That is my self-care. So what does your self-care look like? You can let me know in the comments down below, or if you've never thought about it, this would be the opportunity to think about self-care, because that is the biggest tip I could give to you on how to battle anxiety. And anxiety sucks. It's this terrible roommate that we don't want to live with, but we don't have a choice. So you can't just ignore the awful roommate. You have to deal with it. Deal with it heads on. So I hope that these practical tips on how to deal with anxiety were helpful. That's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I think I have a new schedule on my channel now. I really want to stick to it this year. I was kind of experimenting all of last year since I've been on YouTube for a year now, and I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. So I will post a video every Sunday of every month, and the first video of every month is going to be one related to mental health or social justice, because that's really important to me, so I want to get that out there. And then my second videos of the month will be some sort of life advice related things. Those I also love to make, just conversation videos. You know, they're my favorite. And the third of the month will be like an etc. video where I fit in like a lifestyle video, a fashion video, a beauty video, or like a vlog, because I have way too many interests. And then my fourth and last video of the month will be my monthly favorites to kind of close off the month in that sort of way. So I'm really excited. I really feel like I found like the structure that I was looking for in my YouTube channel, like structure but also giving me some creative freedom. Please like this video and make sure to also subscribe. I can't believe that I hit 1,000 subscribers last month. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. I know that's really an exaggeration, but I felt good. I felt good about myself. I gave myself like a pat on the back, I think, and I was happy. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe, and I'm glad you got to see Pink. She's just very confused. She's like, why are you talking to yourself? And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Yeah.